Another visitor. Stay a while. Stay forever.
The NES PowerPak is a new flash cartridge for the NES. If you've ever used an R4 for the DS or any similar products, then you're familiar with the concept. You just place the system software on a compact flash card like this one, along with any ROM images that you want to play. From there, you just stick it in the PowerPak and away you go. The whole thing is extremely simple and it works just the way you'd expect it to. Now, this may differ a bit from my normal reviews in that I may be getting into a lot of nerdy technical details, and if that's not your cup of tea, then you may want to go back and watch some of my older reviews. It's okay, I'll wait. Okay, you still with me? Good. Then let's talk about memory management controllers. The Famicom, and by extension the NES, was built to be extensible. The system could only do so much on its own, so Nintendo employed memory management controllers to add additional RAM, allow for more sprites on screen, and eventually allow for the battery save that we all know and love. I'll spare you the technical details on how these worked and what was different across different cartridges, but there's plenty of technical detail out on the internet for the curious. In the US, the Nintendo had a death grip on the market, so only their in-house chips were used. Third parties weren't allowed to make their own cartridges. In Japan, however, every company had their own set of chips. While this was great for the consumer at the time, when NES emulation came along, this became a real compatibility issue. New code needed to be written to support each and every individual chip. The pieces of code written to emulate these chips were called mappers. Why is all of this relevant? Well, obviously a card of this nature can't have each and every one of these chips included. The solution then is to simulate these in software. So mapper files are included with the PowerPak software in order to handle this task. A chart is available on their website as well, displaying which mappers work, which are buggy, and which are unavailable. While RetroUSB, the creators of the PowerPak, aren't the only ones making mapper files for the device. Loopy's mappers, available at the address in the video description, extend the capabilities of the PowerPak even further. So without further ado, let's take a look at just how many common mappers this thing can support. Keep in mind that these are just simple tests to see if a game starts and plays properly. A game starting doesn't necessarily mean that there won't be any problems down the road, so keep that in mind. In addition, unless you've dumped your ROM images yourself, your experience may vary depending on a number of factors. This next set of games was played on the Famicom using a modified NES to Famicom adapter to check the PowerPak's ability to play the extra sound channels on some of these games. This card also plays NSF files, so let's have a look at that. But I didn't buy this thing to play standard NES or Famicom games. I bought it for things like translation hacks, Homebrew, and prototypes. So let's see how it plays those. Here you can see that save batteries are also supported. These save files are also transferable between emulators and the compact flash card. You know, if you're into that sort of thing. As you can see, the results here are pretty great, but I also pre-screened this section's titles. One thing to keep in mind is that many of these homebrew games and translation hacks were developed on old emulators, which were horribly inaccurate. They may not be compatible with real NES hardware. I've found that the Nestopia emulator is accurate enough to be a great test platform. Everything that works on Nestopia works on a real NES, and everything that's broken in Nestopia is broken on a real NES. As you might have noticed, each time you start a game, you're presented with a screen allowing you to enter Game Genie codes. That's right, this thing has a built-in Game Genie. I haven't personally tested them, but there's also a set of mappers that actually allow you to use save states, like the ones you get in an emulator. Sure, I can see how that'd be useful, but if you use them, you're officially not a bad enough dude to rescue the president. Just saying. One major issue that must be addressed is compact flash card compatibility. I actually went through 3 different compact flash cards in order to find one that worked 100% with the system. Rather than buying and returning a bunch of compact flash cards in order to get one that works, buy a Dana-like card like this one. You can find these on Amazon or eBay or various other places online. These are also the brand that RetroUSB sells on their site, so you know they work. And no, I'm not being paid by Dana-like. These are just the only cards that work. Seriously. So in conclusion, the PowerPak does a fantastic job of supporting nearly everything out there, which is an incredible feat. In addition, both RetroUSB and Loopy are continually working to improve these mappers, so expect support to improve as time goes on. Who knows, one day it might actually support every NES and Famicom game ever made.